Hello, welcome to Reframing Mindset Podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Oh, welcome. Expiration date. Talking about going through. There are days. Oh, there's a record. So slow. I talk about it. Yeah, I talk about the log phase, and then you have the exponential log or something like that. Then you have a slow time where it take like it's taking forever. Then boom, it's going up so quick. Blowing up so quick, and then you're blowing up so quick. Then all of a sudden, then you reach a plateau, and what happens is that the plateau is the level. And what happens is that when you reach this plateau, you don't realize that you reach this plateau. Sometimes you don't have to realize that or what you were so in this exponential phase that you don't even realize that it's like what happened that you actually reach plateau. What happens is that you actually so what happens is that you realize customer and talking about so, stuff and you know reach a level yet, but you can realize that everything about expiration. You know, let's talk about customer service experience. Let's talk about the recurrence. One of the easiest thing was change expiration and what happens that things have expiration. Things expire so that it gives you time to act it. Yeah, for different reasons. When things expire, when things expire, sometimes when things expire, it's like they give you our things have a certain time limit. I guess that's the important. Things have a certain time limit for certain which was- and that's okay. You're a novice and start out novice. You don't start out big. And that's the thing where I talk about a safe product. A safe product don't start out. Years of text. Years of test. Oh no, no, it's what years of that's like yeah, no, it was what happened that you want to realize. Think it's not talk about storage and realize that things actually have a expiration for a reason. Everything our expiration that uh, uh, we naturally understand. So so boom, this place will exploit that people are living their life and stuff like that. I it's funny I talk. You can realize that boom. Not there so you upgrade. So the first thing is store. When out there's upgrade in your life, the way you store when like the thing and it went and, and that's the funny thing I realized like oh I'm out there thinking that I'm out there passing the sugar rush. Like I realized that wow certain stuff that you compound interest. So boom, I'm out there so getting better, but naturally behind me getting better ways as a result. And it's like, oh, yeah. That's exactly it. The end of it. It's like you're out there to do it. And what happens that you're going to realize everything our expiration are are most things our expiration. So, alright, so we're gonna start with this thing right now. But most things have an expiration date for a reason. For a reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. But if you actually listen to most, you actually have a you actually have a understanding. You mean actually have an understanding as to why. Expiration as to why. What happens when I talk about the different phase. You have the slow phase, the big phase, growing phase, and the dark. So in the growing phase now, what happens is that boom, you're out there starting small. And it's like, oh my god, the small product is so niche. You want it to be big and you can't even think about it. You want it to be big to me. Really get like, oh my god, okay. Then boom, all of a sudden you have 20 billion customers. What is that in that big phase now you can't keep up with demand and can't keep up with demand. It's growing. But once you actually get rid what once you actually get used to actually controlling demand, no, but actually realize that your once you get better at controlling demand, your profits and all those will get steady, then it gets good. So it would actually predict this stuff. No, actually it predict how it's not going to work out. And then now you understand that why certain things are like, oh, you get it, you drive, get your light. I was like, oh my god, I got my light for like 20 years. And I have driven like the times that I driven car as no plan. After a while it becomes norm. It becomes norm. Driving becomes norm. But not only driving becomes but but yeah, driving becomes norm. So boom, so I talk about things like that. You're excited. You're excited about driving, then boom, it becomes norm. So the first thing for what I think is exploration is actually stop that to get you out of the habit and be like, oh yeah. You have that boom, so boom, this in the process of renewing the license and stuff like that. You're reminded in that process now. I, I would actually go through the process of reminding myself why why I actually got it in the first place. So it's like, oh, the code, oh, you know, the use of it still until you lose it. The expiration date is a safe way. Yeah, it's a safe way to say, oh yeah, this is actually what happens when you actually lose this stuff. So yeah, don't lose. This is what actually happens when you lose this. So actually don't lose. It's like, oh. That actually reminds myself. Yeah. Oh yeah. That expiration date now gives the ability to not remember like, oh yeah, this is the infinite my infinite drive and then now in the driving you get so bored and that but just into me out there so doing this stuff. But there was a reason why I was all this. There was before now I forgot the last. There was a reason. So sometimes I be like, oh my god, oh, like with everything, there was a reason why I initially got it in the first place. What means I actually got it, and then you become complacent. So what happens is that the reason why they have expiration. Even everything else is a reminder as to what it was like without without it. It's like remind yourself what was it like without. I was like, oh yeah, actually. So what happened is that boom, that was the first. Then the next reason, you remind you boom, you get it and you get it. And they remind you that little lesson now actually remind you. Okay, yes, this was the reason now why I didn't have this. I actually went through why I did all these sacrifices. Actually, that's the thing now. Without this, say a person, so there's a giving up a lot of stuff, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense as to why. And then when you get it, there's a looking at all the things straight up and be like, God, is it worth it? But you can't tell. You can't. That's the reason why when you get it, expiration date, the first expiration date is a kind of reminder of what was life with with those life before you even got or before you even go through remember that process again and stuff like. Then now I think the next lesson is in expiration date is actually sleep. They'll be like, okay, you know, you go through the first time and you're like, okay, you renew. Yeah, for years now. They talk about the thing again, be like, oh yeah, the whole thing has a file on you and that stuff like that. So the thing now becomes a luxury. Ah, and that we have different kind of tiers and like, oh yeah, you just be like, yeah, you out there and you basically just be like, "Yo, this is basically it. Oh, this that's the tier you're in. That's the tier you're in forever. And it's like, oh yeah, you're out there, so constantly reminded as to why you have to be mindful. And that's where the level of expertise coming up. You're out there, so you're always mindful to say, yeah, today is the expiration date. I'm going to deal with that really and stuff like that. You make bookings and stuff like that. Become personalize these stuff and these never get out of hand. Need none of these expressions never get out of hand. And these things never get out. So, yeah, that that's so that first time is to actually remind you of what what is like. Remember, oh, I have to go back to so boom, me now in this year now I have to go back to my life. No, go through the process now. After I go through, after I go through, finally I got the license, and then after the go through the process, after I renew a license, go through the process. Nah, so boom, that was the first time. No, that's what actually I go through the first time. I actually realized, oh, yeah. That's basically the task. That's basically the way, I try to get. Try to oh, yeah, this conflict. Now you're out there to know that hey, every time you're out there, just like everything else, you're out there, so boom, you do it once and be like, oh my god, no, I get it. So you're out there, so drunk in it, and it's like, oh, yeah. But then you're out there, so boom, after actually get reminded. There's a next reminder now as to why there's that experience. When it becomes a luxury now, when it becomes a luxury now, oh, yeah, I'm driving eternally, I'm driving eternally. Oh, there's a driving eternally now. If I to reach the log, be like, oh yeah, you're out there, so you're driving the same car, like, oh yeah, it's the same thing, same route. I'm going back doing the same thing, going the fast. And like, yeah. So the next thing why I have the, the so the next thing is actually prevent that luxury now. To actually get you out of that route. But the next thing is, I think, for what you're gonna write, that expiration date. So boom, they give you So boom, that's the first thing. You have expiration date pattern. Just get you out of the routine to be like, yeah, you're out of this phase now. You're out of the primary school. You're out of this phase now. You're in this phase. Yeah. So boom, the next you're in this phase. That's get you back into the thing. You'll be like, oh, back to being an adult. Back to being an adult. The next yeah. Boom. There's a put out a product. And this product untested. You don't you know this product. The next thing is actually now the expiration date now is actually give you time to build a better version of it. So boom, your guys will be like, oh my god, boom, you release the thing and you're like, oh my god, I released this. That's why now you hear me record on this using the mic and you actually look on the logo and the logos look nice and stuff like that. Yeah, about merch now. Those are our software dreams. So sometimes actually, that sometimes that's the reason why creation need that. That to remember, oh, these stuff were actually dreams once. These were actually stuff. How? No, I actually have for one dream. So sometimes I gotta remember. These were once dreams. Then no, the dreams gonna get moved. Oh, that, that, yeah. So the dream get fulfilled. That's the first phase. No, that the dream get fulfilled. Like, oh my god, this was the reason why I actually started. Yeah. And then the reason for the expiration. Right. This is the reason why you actually work this hard to actually get this. So this is the reason why. To remind you, oh yeah, this was the reason why I actually worked so hard. Yeah, no, mm, so that without it, you're like, oh yeah, me working so hard to get there. It's like, oh yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, no, I remember how hard it was to actually get this thing that out. Now that I actually remembered now why I do it. And the next thing now is that is that to get better version of the thing. And a better version of it in the sense that, oh yeah, I'm gonna get version it's better version in the sense, oh, this was the first version of what the thing is like. Then, when I reach a certain level, you realize, oh yeah, there's something you can boom, boom, boom. So that's doing it better. You reach a so this is why you're starting YouTube channels. Yeah, so you hear the first word, the first word. People say, "Oh, I started out on my iPhone. Started off my YouTube channel on iPhone. Now I have million subscribers." Not it. But then you have an iPhone cheapest. That but no, I'm here. No, I'm here. I don't have iPhone. I reached so far, but what happened is I actually plugged on the someone that the start. I forgot this. Or what happened is that I changed what was what was I had one goal and then things what happens everything's expiration. What happens that you reach a new phase of life, certain things that you were out there so going going about nature is the other way of saying then actually go for the and go for the other go for the so that's basically just the thing where I be like, yeah, you out there to have expiration after actually stop doing this and that. Then this is a new good. After you get it, then yeah, but they are a better version of the same. And then when you get better version of the same thing again, what happens that no, that becomes a luxury again. Oh my god, no, I'm getting the best version. Then there's a there's probably something now. Maybe there's a better way to get the the best version of it. There's a better, and when you actually get that, then you actually reach in the new. Then you actually there's an expiration private for more when I reach a certain level. After these high levels are just reaching these levels where we like, oh, you're understanding these stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, you're understanding the reality. You're you're figuring out why that reality. You know, there's a become better. Not better dealing reality, better at this is the new reality. This is the better. No, it's not the idea. Or you're better at goal setting. Better at being like, oh, this is the reason why I'm doing. The expiration date is to remind yourself why you're doing it, sir. Sir, that was the reason. So you're just upgrading and all these stuff. The expiration date is like things kind of stop. It, things kind of dry now. So the dry phase is basically the time to remind yourself as to why you're out there so working for that better. But not only that, I think there's a level where we actually pass through those phases. Boom. So I talk about boom trying to pre-version of a premium one full version. Then I talk then and actually to actually get the full version of it and to maintain it. You're just trying to maintain it on oh yeah. So that's the next thing about each so boom you're this so boom the first phase now you're this working towards you're this working towards it and be like oh my god that's the reason why I was working towards and it's like, oh yeah you get it you reach the level and like oh you got you forgot you forgot how hard it was actually you actually forgot so first thing is actually remember like yeah this was the reason why you're this get this then you're this was once allowed what was allowed to that was not once allowed. You have to remind yourself as to allowed, why that's allowed. So that's the reason why. Oh, yeah, renewing stuff, going through taking your time to understand the process. Ever not realize, yeah, it wasn't easy. But after a while, it get easy. It doesn't get easy. You become better. Compound. Whenever that comes, yeah, boom, easy to get a BS. It's so easy to get a BS. I can get 10 BS. Then now you have an MS. Now after down. No, I actually sit down and remind myself. And what happens is that there's a limit to the that's the reason why they be they're giving you something in this BSC, but you're just throwing away a lot of they're giving you some but I can't tell but when you actually give it away it's like yo, that's a really giving. You can't tell and that's the reason why oh man because humans forget Sometimes you have to remember the day when you did have. Alright, that's why that even when you get it, what happens is that when you get it, you go back to the days when you go back to the days where you don't have it, but you have it now. So that's the thing, So that's the thing about expiration date. You actually attain the stuff, but now it expires. Now you have to actually go back and be like, yeah, I have it, but no, I have to actually go through the process. In that process now, I'm slowly remind myself, you were so on the IRS. No, no, we out there actually going actually trying to get it back. I was like, oh yeah. In that while you remember what was it like without right, now. And you'll be like, yeah, yeah, back in business, back in business. Then it becomes a luxury. It becomes a luxury and be like, oh my God, I'm in this level now. Forever. I ain't going back there, bro. We ain't going back there. Then boom, you reach a limit. You reach a limit. The BSC limit, everything will be like, yeah, this is legit. For that's why sometimes you hear people like, oh my God, I started out my iPhone. I know I have millions of subscribers. Then it's the upgraded stuff. You know, every day talking about, eh, I don't need an iPhone and stuff like that. Yeah, now eventually. There's a reason why all right, not only that, there's a bubble. There's a bubble. So that's the reason why, and that's the reason why there's a bubble. Like this part, person that like, he is the best and all these stuff. But there are 10 million podcasts every week. There's something that actually be like, okay, this is the best. This is the best out. This is the reason why this actually go there. You actually have to go there. Actually have to go there. You don't go there, you don't actually. And then why you actually have to be why you actually have to be that. So when you actually remind your poetry and remind yourself why you actually be that, then now you actually I'd be like, oh my god, I'm never going to back those broke days. I'd be like, oh my god, I never want to go back to those broke days again. And all these stuff. Then no, what happens now? I listen to the episode and be like, it start to be like, yeah, no, you actually get more luxury. Now is the new expiration them now is to remind what the luxurious is to actually introduce what the luxurious like. From there to be like, oh my god, getting luxury cars and all. So boom, the first car is actually be like, oh yeah, that's the reason why you actually get. Then they start to try and understand. The new thing that actually remind you why they actually have to get why why when the expiration comes, it actually reminds you, yeah. No, I remember why I have to actually go now and I'm motivated to know why I actually have to go. So no, so the first thing is actually boom. You see what it's like. You get it, yes, you get it, and then the first expiration is actually give you the life with it, but you don't have it. So like boom, you have it, but they can't even use it. Can't even use it at all. They just have to go through the process of work and get it used. Then when I just get it work and get it useful, then be like, I will never go back to those days again. Never go back to those broke days again. All this stuff. Never go back to those days. It's so boom. Life of crime. I never go back to those crime days again. And all this. But then, like everything, I boom, yeah, I said with everything. You never go back to those days again. Because you get the taste of what the other side is like. You get the taste of what the other side is like. Oh my God. This is what the other side is like. Then now the new expiration date now is like the new expiration date are like limits. So there's a limit to everything now. There's a limit to what good can carry and bad can carry so far, all these stuff so far. Can carry go so far and no. So far, so far, no. Move me up, it's in a tier. Go this in this go this in this tax bracket. So you're far away from the bottom. Far away from the bottom. Because you move from the bottom, there's a new up. Or you come out and you change the game. Change the game. What happens now is that it no, no, so the first code actually leave the bottom. They actually leave the bottom. So when actually leave the bottom now, first expiration is to actually get you back to the one. So there is why I the first expiration is actually kind of bring you back to the bottom. Oh my god, bro. This was what actually what this was what it is. You know, my that was you have to go through those styles of those. Then boom, and go through the days and read and go back. I ain't going back to the bottom again, bro. Actually, go back to the bottom, bro. I ain't going back to the bottom again, bro. You know, whatever you do, bro. Whatever it was, ain't bring me back to the bottom. Yeah, so that was the now the new expiration date. No, it's actually yeah. Not is that yeah. We ain't going back to the bottom again, bro. Yeah, acknowledge that. The new expiration date, new luxury. They give you a reason now. Give you a reason. Yeah. Make a try for this. Make a try. You know, there's a limit. No, yo, this actually me no. I compounding over time. Oh, yeah. This is what I mean. Okay, yeah. No, no, I'm interested. No, I'm interested. No, because what happens is that after a while, you understand what you're reminded of the days with when you did have it, then you get it, then you remember why you actually wanted those things in the first. Remember why why you actually left the bottom, why you actually did, why you actually did want to be at the bottom again. So now what happens now is that you become you become complacent at a certain level, then now you get introduced to you're getting introduced to the top. So now we're going to be like, yeah, everything I make, everything makes sense, or everything everything makes sense to me. Every words I speak now when they make perfect sense to hear, make futuristic sounds so futuristic to a BSC that graduated 2024. Fine. But someone in 2018 here where I'm graduated, still talking BSC stuff, bro. Still talking about this. So yeah, so that's basically they'll be like, yeah, let's say let's say so what means that I'm so revolutionary. I sound revolutionary to a newcomer. But to someone at your level or older, they be like, oh my god, they coming with the same book, same playbook, everything. The one trick pony, you know, they call us the one trick pony, far from the bottom. But we ain't going back to the bottom, bro. You call us the one trick pony. The new expiration date now is actually give you the new expiration date is to in when they say not going to the bottom now. Or they say, okay, yeah. They're introducing now to the top now. And like, oh my god, no. No, because I don't want to go back to the bottom again, bro. I'm gonna make sure that I never reach that level. So there's a renew it way before it's time. And when I there's a renew it way before it's time, I want to get introduced to this. Oh, and it's like. can't tell what the hell though, and everything comes back right. Everything goes, but I can't tell. You don't tell what you can't tell what is the benefit until you actually get it. That's why you're gonna hear me say there was a point in time I was excited about all this talking about. There was one point in time where I did have these. Yeah, yeah. There was once a point in time where I did wrong. Sometimes I can remember my life. So that was actually no talking about this episode. Went through the process of trying to get my. You know what? I'm gonna to know that actually remind my point. So, so boom. So we talk about the days now. So talk about the days now. You out there to remember the days when you did have or what it's like to not be them. Then you out there to know have to actually be like, yeah, when you actually get these stuff now, I ain't gonna waste it, bro. I ain't gonna waste it. I ain't gonna waste my chance now, bro. It's straight killing. So yeah, so that's so boom. So yeah. So what happens is that the first expiration is that these were you get comfortable. Um, then you get slapped back down to the bottom. And those times at the bottom, bro, are character building times, bro. Character building times, bro. Because when you make it to the top, you're gonna be talking about all those days at the bottom. You're gonna be talking about those days at the bottom, bro. You're gonna talk about oh my those days at the bottom was so dreadful, bro. So dreadful, bro. You're gonna you're gonna sound like the 1%. You're gonna sound like the 1%, maybe like, oh my god. You're gonna sound like the 1%, and they're gonna call it the 1%, bro. They're gonna call it the 1%. They're gonna call it the 1%, bro. But hey, you're going there was something there was something there that reminded me you didn't want there was something there. And what happened is that they talk about I talk about everything. Since that generation, first generation, it, uh, there was something there. What happens is that every there's something to remind you of why until it becomes memory. When it becomes muscle memory, bro, you'll be like, yeah, we ain't going back there again, bro. We ain't going back there again. And after I become memory now, you'll be like, yeah, we ain't going back there. Those are the days we actually know what it's like to not. So what? We know what it's like to not have these stuff. We got it. We be like this stuff, and then now we know what it's like to actually be at the top and lose the top. You know, actually lose the top and have to come back and rebuild. Rebuild from nothing, bro. You know that we want this to come back and have to rebuild. And what happens is that when you actually on this level, you become a new person. Of course, that's a new thing. You actually become a new person. You become you to reach a new level. You have to actually become not you. Trying to become not you. It's like wow. Actually have to not become. That's actually the wild. And when you actually not become you, at one point you're gonna be like, yo, this is faking it. Back in the days, you say, yeah, I was actually back, yeah, back in the days I was growing up. But no, you actually have to become that person. I actually have to become what I yeah. Because if I don't, I go back to the bottom, bro. I go back to the bottom, bro. Yeah. That's the next phase up. So that's the next phase of the thing where be like, oh yeah, they give me a taste of the top now, bro. Now I have to actually remind myself, bro, why we ain't going back to the bottom, bro. So that's what the podcast is. Sometimes this podcast going a very slow pace. Sometimes I was, sometimes I forgot as to why I even started in the first place. There was a reason why I started everything. There was a reason why I started everything. So sometimes I actually forgot. So when I actually I forgot, yeah, most nah, bro. Well, we don't want to listen. We don't want those lessons. We don't want those lessons, bro. So we're trying our best not to actually reach that point where be like, yeah, person that be like, yo. That's basically it for this episode. We'll be like, yeah, I think everything about expiration. Is the reason why it is that actually introduce and like, yeah, come back again, come back better, coming back better, coming back better, bro. With everything else, we come back better. And when we come back better, you have to actually remind yourself as to why we act. And sometimes the better leave it. Sometimes you don't know what the better is until actually get the better, bro. And when I get the better, right, like yeah. But like everything else, you have years a reason. That's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening and look forward for the next episode. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.